Let's take a look at number 7 from section 11.1. We're asked to find the equation of a sphere that contains 2 points, the point 1, 3, 2, which we're calling A, the point 4, 3, 7 that we're calling B, and we're told that not only does it contain these 2 points, but the diameter of the sphere is exactly the distance from A to B. Why don't we start with a quick sketch of what's going on. So you've got point A, point B, connect those 2 points, that's the diameter of the sphere. So we've got something that looks like that. Now, what do we need in order to find the equation of the sphere? We need 2 things. We need the center, which we'll usually write as x naught, y naught, z naught, and we need the radius, which we'll call r. Okay, once we have those 2 things, then our equation becomes x minus the x component of the center squared plus y minus the y component of the center squared plus z minus the z component of the center squared equals r squared. So that's ultimately what we're after, is an equation of that form where we fill in appropriately the center and the radius. Let's start with the center. Again, we've got this line connecting A and B that gives us the diameter of the sphere. That means if this is the diameter, the center should be the midpoint. Okay, so if we find the midpoint, that gives us the center of the sphere. How do you find the midpoint? Well, the midpoint is a new point that you get by taking the x components of the 2 points you're talking about, in this case 1 and 4, adding those and dividing by 2. You take the y components, add those up, divide by 2. The z components, add those up, divide by 2. And that's the midpoint between A and B. So what do we get when we simplify? We get 1 and 4 is 5 halves. 3 plus 3 over 2 gives us 6 halves, or 3, and 2 plus 7 over 2 gives us 9 halves, or 9 over 2. Okay, so there's the midpoint, which is also the center of the sphere. Then we want the radius. Well, the radius is, again, the distance from the center here to either the point A or the point B, and obviously those distances should be the same. We could also find the radius by just taking the full distance from A to B and dividing by 2. Either one of those would be fine. In either case, you're using the distance formula. In order to mess around with less fractions, I'm going to find the radius by taking the distance from A to B and dividing by 2. So the distance from A to B, we're going to get by taking the differences squared of each of the components